So I just spent a couple days hanging out with Dean Graziosi. I'm actually in his house right now. We're in a video shoot. We're shooting a course. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be on how to sell. And, you know, I've been hanging out with Dean for well over a decade. Just spent 2 days masterminding with him and then hanging out at his house. And the thing we were reflecting on is this idea of self-education. In fact, I'm going to do a whole series of blog videos on this, because this idea of self-education is so powerful. We were in a mastermind. There's about 10 or 12 of us in the room, and you looked around and they were some of the best, smartest, most successful business people you could ever imagine. And I don't know how many of us actually had college degrees. My guess is not that many, and none of us had college degrees in marketing or business, and yet we collectively in that room had changed the world. And this idea that no matter who you are, where you're at, you can go get a better education than the absolute best universities there are, it's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And I've been in this for 25 years or so. I don't know, it was in the mid-90s when I first bought Tony Robbins' Personal Power 2. And that one thing, that one purchase that I spent, $129 or something for it, that was the start of everything. It wasn't the be-all and end-all, the thing that gave me the graduate degree in business. In fact, it wasn't about business at all. But it taught me a lot of great lessons, but the meta lesson was, no matter what I want to learn, there's someone else who's already figured out, who's steps ahead of me, and I can go pay them and I can get that education. I don't need a degree. I don't need to depend on anyone but me, because the education opportunities are absolutely amazing. And now I end up in that business. And we've got kids here. We've got dogs with muddy paws running around. So this is a working house. That's the hilarious thing. We got this fancy video set all set up with the kids playing and everything. That's the business we're in. The business we're in is the business where you can have a life, where you can have a lifestyle, where you can have a family and still create a great business and great impact. So you get to hear squealing young adolescent girls in the background during the video. But I looked around this room, and it's a mastermind of people that are shifting the world. And we all educated ourselves. And now that's the business I've found myself in for really the last 25 years. I started off educating people about the stock market and their finances and their investments. And now since the early 2000s, I've been teaching people how to build their business, how to share their knowledge with the world. So there is few things I am as passionate about as this idea of self-education. And I want to do this video series for you on it. So I'm just going to leave you with that, because we are all, every entrepreneur, you are in the education business. I don't care if you're a hairstylist. I don't care if you have a pizzeria. I don't care if you have a training business like I do. We are all in this business. I like to call it the wisdom business, of sharing your experience, your knowledge, and helping people with that. And I think you need to lean into that. And if you're going to have this type of business, if you're going to have any kind of business, you need to know marketing and you need to know sales. And that's actually what Dean and I were shooting a course on sales, because Dean is one of the best people I know at selling from a place of passion. And I'm like the person who is like the last person in the world you would ever suspect would have any degree of success at sales, and yet here I am, tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars of sales later. So wherever you are, scroll down, leave a comment for me, and let's go get them this week.